Hello and welcome back everyone, and Wolf here with even more Star Wars The Old Republic, playing as Vyi'zur here, my bounty hunter, and where we last left off we were doing an interlude where we ended up getting to know our companions just a bit more, and we also did a flashpoint so we could introduce ourselves to a certain character, and we're now ready to go into the extra story that came after the end of the bounty hunter origin, before we get into the first expansion. So, I believe we need to get ourselves, to Vaiken Spacedock, the Imperial Fleet. So, let's get ourselves on the way. So on the inner ring of the space dock here.
Okay.
There's a certain individual we need to speak to. I believe it's a droid. Before we go look for the droid, we do actually have a couple of bits of mail. We have the former Supreme Chancellor. I had to pull in a few favors with my old staff in the SAS to see this communication reaches you. It shouldn't come back on either of us. An emergency Senate hearing just voted in Governor Suresh of Taris as acting Supreme Chancellor of the Republic. She spent most of her career lobbying for stronger action against the Empire, and after Corellia she'll have the support she needs to get it. I fear there's no stopping war now. I won't ask you to get caught up in this mess again, but if you have to make a stand for something in this war, make it for a future. Don't let this madness consume us all. And Mako. Huh. I see, Mako.
Should the Rakul problem grow out of hand, the Imperial First Fleet is pre-authorized to commence full-scale orbital bombardment of Alderaan.
Yeah, the weekly event on Alderaan with the Rakul plague affecting Akilic High for the most part, is going on right now. I actually had a look at that with Ava just last night, just for something different. I earned a little bit of reputation with Thorn, which I forgot what it stands for. Only a little bit though. The Highland Organization for Rakul Neutralization.
Hunter, Moff Regus. I'm calling to recruit you for a special project. It's called Operation Dark Ice. It'll be the most dangerous thing you've ever done, but it could very well win the war. You're the best hunter in the galaxy. Can we count on your services?
I don't do volunteer work.
You'll be well paid, and you'll receive a temporary battlefield commission. It'll be your operation if you accept. I'm sending the coordinates for the planet Ilum. Used to be a frozen wasteland only a few Jedi bothered with. But a few weeks ago, Imperial scientists discovered a way to turn Adegan lightsaber crystals into the most significant breakthrough in military technology since the hyperdrive.
Let me guess. These Adegan lightsaber crystals can only be found on Ilum.
Ilum has the biggest supply, and our scientists have had more success with Ilum's crystals than any other kind. The Empire won on Corellia, but it was costly. We're outnumbered. We need the technological edge. We need Ilum's crystals. But as usual, the Republic's intent on interfering.
How's the Republic interfering? Do you have a plan for stopping them?
I have a few ideas, but I want your input. Ilum's a nasty place. Cold as Hoth, covered in ice and mountainous terrain. Makes moving large armies impossible. I hope to see you soon.
I see.
Thorn representatives tending to the Rakul situation are in need of volunteers. Caution. In volunteering, you place both your life and citizenship at risk.
So, to get ourselves back on board the Mantis. Before we get ourselves over to Ilum, I think I've mentioned it maybe once, maybe twice. What I'm planning to do with this series and with my Jedi Knight series is to play them together, so to speak. Ava, my Jedi Knight, has just went through the events on Ilum for a Republic character, and of course now I'm here with Vyi'zur. And I'll likely do the exact same for the expansions as well. Go through the events from a Republic perspective, then an Imperial perspective. It doesn't quite work out for some of the future expansions as, well, as you'll find out. I'll leave you in suspense if you've never experienced the storyline before, which would be a surprise, but just in case, I'll leave it there. What I should really do is allow Ava's story arc to catch up with Vyi'zur, as she is about 3, maybe 4 weeks behind in terms of release. But then you will have 4 weeks of no bounty hunter, which I don't want to do. So, well, and the reason I want to do Ava first is because I think my Jedi Knight feels more... It feels more responsibility. I mentioned it at the beginning of the Jedi Knight series, I think on the way to Lower Caliph on Typhon. The Jedi Knight just feels like you have more responsibility. There's more weight in your decisions. Not to say that Vyi'zur's had to make some important decisions. The end of his origin story was an important decision to make. But at the same time, he's always been more of a freelancer. As we've mentioned before, he could always turn down a contract and walk away. He isn't tied directly to the Empire, whereas Ava is kind of intrinsically tied to the Jedi Order. And so it always feels like she has to be more... I have to feel more responsible for her in playing and role-playing her character a bit more. I think that's the best way of putting it. So I tend to play her first because I can be a bit more loose with Vyi'zur. I suppose that's the best way of putting it. It's a bit more fun. I suppose it's fun to play Vyi'zur because I'm not having to feel that weight of responsibility. It's a bit more liberating. But, so yes, even though you will see the footage of, obviously, like, our time on Ilum here before you get to Ava's time on Ilum. Understand that I am recording Ava's first, therefore during my time here and during my time in the future expansions, I will have Republic relevant information maybe to give you, because I will have experienced that first. But you won't see it for another 3-4 weeks. I suppose that's the best way to put it. But we'll get ourselves underway. And Ilum is in the unknown regions. The mountainous ice planet Ilum is home to one of the Jedi Order's most distant outposts. Nestled between snow-covered crags is an enclave used by the Jedi for generations, a shelter from the cold and a launching point for journeys into Ilum's exotic crystal caves. These caves produce some of the most rare and powerful lightsaber crystals in the galaxy. Ilum hosts no indigenous population, although a number of larger animals survive in its environment. Its temperature fails to reach the extremes of Hoth, but it has never been a target for colonization or occupation. And we're going to be level 50 when we're here. Okay, so why don't we take Blizz with us? We've never taken Blizz anywhere so far. Ilum doesn't have any dedicated spaceports, so we'll have to dock the Mantis at the orbital station once again.
If that's how you want it.
Blizz, what do you wield? A blaster pistol. Right. Okay. A droid here telling us about the Directive 7 Flashpoint. Various crafting trainers. Okay, map. So, this is the entirety of Ilum. It's not a very large world. In fact, I think we never really need to go into the western section of the world. From what I recall, the Republic has their main base kind of around here in a small way station. And they kind of just keep themselves to this region here. Whereas we have our main base of operations, the base camp, and a small way station around this way. We keep ourselves mostly to this little section. There is a heroic mission for the Republic down in the southeast, and we have a heroic mission in the northeast here. There's actually 2 datacrons in each of the corners. Both of them are they're easy enough to get. And I think we have all the datacrons on Ilum. Indeed we do. Okay. We need to go see the Grand Moff, but what I think we may do is quickly do the heroic mission and get my frustrations out of the way.
What makes you think I care? You're suggesting poisoning their climate controls with your coolant to force them out of their camps.
So, this, how to put this without sounding unfun. Ilum's heroic missions, historically and still truly, are a pain in the ass, both for the Republic and the Imperials. Now, the Republic side, with Ava, as you'll find out in the future, I had just decided to, well, I'll leave that for spoilers. I decided to try something new. There you go, I'll put it that way. And so I was learning something new at the same time as I was doing a heroic mission, notorious for being a bit painful. And so we had a few unfortunate incidents. And from experience, I know what this Flashpoint is all about. There's actually a staged bonus mission that goes with this heroic. So I reckon I might as well get it out of the way quickly. Save myself the headache. It's the only heroic for a player of the Empire. So, yes, the Jedi and the Republic forces here have taken control of a camp. We need to find certain tents with climate controls that we can poison. But we do also have a bonus mission to deal so much, to kill so many of the Republic forces here. At least we're getting a few tech fragments for our trouble. Stage 1, defeat 15 of the Republic forces. Oh, I wasn't meant to activate dodge there, my bad. So I've set Blizz as tank. As I found with Ava of late, tanking actually is pretty good for the companion, especially doing this heroic. And I'm not sure how effective Blizz is at healing. Just having to be careful about our targets. These lookouts are a bit of a pain. So we'll deal with them first. I have adjusted the UI for when we're targeting enemies. This mostly for their debuffs. I've made the debuff icons a little bit bigger and more. I know when it's our debuffs that are being applied, mainly because I needed that information as my knight, but it has passed over to Vyi'zur as well. This heroic has always been a pain, primarily because the enemies can end up you get a chain aggro, and you may end up fighting multiple groups at once, especially when you're getting the Jedi's attention. I think this one in particular, this group of 4 here, the Jedi will be forced out here in this doorway, I believe. So this group would absolutely slaughter you, on top of the Jedi you have to fight. It wouldn't be a particularly fun time. So far we're managing rather well. Okay, there's the stage 1 bonus mission complete. That was also the wrong button again. Destroy 6 Republic speeders. Alright, if I go back then, I might be able to get a speeder or 2 from the enemies we've killed already. They're starting to respawn, which is not ideal. Okay, we got 3 of 6. There may be 1 or 2 that are unattended as well. Could wait for the speeders to maybe respawn. Hopefully before the enemies do. See if we can actually maybe get this Jedi's attention. Could probably fight this group. Christ. I was hoping to disable one of them. We are not in a good way, but let's heal ourselves up a little. Yeah, that's the Jedi you have to fight. Bloody hell. And not fun, that's for sure. That's why you don't want to be fighting anyone else at the same time, otherwise you'll just live to regret it. I think there's another one over here we can poison without upsetting anyone. We do need to complete the bonus mission first though, and I think once we've dealt with a Jedi that might be it, if I remember correctly. So what is the final stage? Access the communications network, probably get someone's attention and have to kill them. Yeah, obtain the Republic battle plans. Very much. Oh, all that for a few credits. And these are back. Do we want us to fight the same group of Jedi? I mean, we could, unless there's another tent we could poison without getting any Republic troops' attention. Doesn't look like it. Looks like we're always going to be fighting someone. Oh well, so be it. Right, get ourselves fully healed up and ready for the fight once again. Hey, level 78. In fact, I was going to look at my abilities. I didn't probably look at pugnacity. Giving us 20 seconds, where we get 5% of our maximum health back every 3 seconds. It actually increases our damage reduction. I didn't read that for a while. I'm wondering, it has like a 1 minute, well, a 2 minute cooldown. So at level 78, we finally got our last ability, our last passive, which is Cut to the Quick. Point blank shot grants Cut to the Quick, increasing the critical chance and critical multiplier of your damage over time periodic abilities. Which is pretty good, considering we are using like Vital Shot and Shrap Bomb quite often, as well as our Bushwhack ability. Now, let's just see. Scramble's pretty good. Every time we're attacked, it reduces our cooldown on dodge. I just wonder if there's a way to reduce the cooldown on pugnacity. And if I was going to take it, if it was going to be, if we'd lose something else. Resets the cooldown. Oh, it's an ability. Let's see. I mean, that means you get 2 uses of pugnacity per fight, basically. Which would be tempting. Ooh, pugnacity maxes out your upper hand and resets its cooldown, like reduces its cooldown. What do we lose? Increases our critical hit chance in all damaging and healing. So we just get 5% flat extra damage. Or we get extra energy, extra alacrity for 20 seconds, and more chances of regenerating health and damage reduction. It's pretty damn good. It gives you extra damage reduction. Yeah, we'll keep it as it is. Okay, we'll get ourselves back to the base camp. We've got the heroic out the way. We could go see the Grand Moff, but what we'll do is we'll leave that for next time. These are going to be fairly short parts during our time here on Ilum, because we don't have a class storyline anymore. We just have the world storyline, and our character goes through the world storyline. So in essence, it kind of halves the quests that are available, because you're only following one major plot thread, not 2, on the various planets you're going to be visiting. And there just happens to be a few side and exploration missions added to those to that world story. So what we'll do is we'll take a break here. Thank you for joining me once again as we continue our Bounty Hunter story arc here with our bonus series on Ilum before we get ourselves set up to go into the first expansion. As always, feel free to leave a comment if you so wish, and hopefully I'll see you for even more next time. Until then though, take care. Bye bye now.